Thank you everybody. Thank you audience, and thank you viewers at home. Welcome to another episode of Retro Recipes. And today we're joined by a very special guest, that ever so helpful shop worker who always has a chipper smile. Ladies and jelly beans, chip chompers. Yeah, please welcome my special guest today, Ashley-fractic.
Why are you pretending there's an audience? There's no one here.
Welcome to Retro Recipes.
Welcome.
Now, I do like to keep things interesting or different for you, but if you're wondering who Ashley even is, here's a recap from the time I needed some nuts and bolts. You're nuts?
No, you're nuts.
No, I mean like nuts and bolts for an Amiga 600.
I thought I was your Amiga.
The computer. Stay tuned for more fun like that, and even a commercial she was in throughout this episode. But now, back to you in the studio, Perifractic. Okay, so a few weeks ago I asked my Patreons and PayPal donors to pose questions to the lovely Ashley. And I'm going to be reading them out here from my Sharp Apple Newton. It's an Apple Newton made by Sharp. Go figure. Go figure and go refurbish. This one needs us to give it a very quick cleanup. But while we do that, let's learn a little about it. The Sharp Expert Pad was introduced at Macworld Expo in 1993, so quite recently then. And it's a little known fact that Apple licensed their Newton touchscreen technology from day one, unlike Macintosh, which took them a decade. Sharp expected to sell millions of these, but after year one, only 10,000 had been bought, and we've got one of them. But it doesn't work. I think the issue is this corroded battery pack, so let's clean it up and make it look sharp. Now, the device offered rudimentary email, Group 3 faxing, I know, even infrared business card sharing. Put that on OfferUp. And this display measures 336 by 240 pixels, and behind it is an ARM 610 processor running at 20 MHz, a 4 MB ROM, and a whopping 640 kilobytes of RAM. Yep, this is 10 Commodore 64s. Sort of. So, Ashley, you ready for the first question?
I am.
All right. This one comes from Mark B. Bassett. And Mark says, do you have any sort of retro collection?
Not really.
Oh, awkward. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. Just kidding.
I think my idea of retro is probably a little bit different from like this style of retro.
So let's, if it's not a rude question, how old are you?
I'm 27 years old.
27. So what's retro to you?
So retro to me is probably like a Super Nintendo or Nintendo 64.
Super Nintendo?
Yeah.
So we've got a Super Nintendo Mini, as it happens, just here. You seen these guys before? It's the Super Nintendo, the European design version,
Oh, okay.
but shrunk by 50% with an HDMI cable. It came out in 2018, 2017.
Oh, wow.
So you probably actually recognize
That controller?
that
I
controller.
recognize. Yep.
So, as far as your retro collection goes, what games console do you have?
I think the oldest I still have is a Nintendo 64.
You have an N64? That's definitely retro.
Yeah.
That counts. What's your current games console that you play with?
An Xbox.
Yeah?
Xbox One.
Xbox One. Okay, that's pretty retro. No?
It's weird they went from 360 to 1. So
Yeah.
it's actually pretty recent. Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing very well.
Great, hope you can help me. I need a replacement keyboard cable for a Macintosh Classic.
For the Macintosh Classic, we only have the inverted phone cables, but the Macintosh takes it straight.
Oh, it takes the straight? I
Yeah.
thought it was inverted.
Nope.
That might be where I'm going wrong. Cool, thank you.
You're welcome.
So this one's from someone called Perifractic. And it says, why do you put up with me?
Why do I put up with Perifractic? Huh. Oh, wow, that's a really good question.
So loaded.
Thank you, Perifractic, for that question.
Yeah, thank you, Perifractic, for that question. Some people say it's because of my accent, but I don't have an accent. You have an accent.
I don't have an accent.
No, you definitely have an accent.
You have an accent.
No, I don't have an accent.
Mine is...
You're American.
Mine's normal.
Hello, I speak English.
Me too.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Perifractic. We've got another question here. This is from Fluffy. After all these weird sketches Perifractic has you do, are you getting any interest in retro computers yourself?
It's a lot for me to compute, actually. But it's definitely very interesting.
Good answer. I like what you did with that. I think it's...
Pun intended.
Is pun intended? Thank
No
you.
pun intended.
Oh, sure it was. We should probably explain to people at home that you may not have as much retro knowledge as it appears when I come into your store where you work and ask you questions. I think it's fair to say that I kind of give you an idea of, not a script, but what I'm going to say and maybe what you can say in response. But you're actually pretty good at improving and coming back with like fun things that I hadn't envisaged.
Yeah, I try.
Yeah.
You push me in the right direction and then just go with it.
And literally push you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Thanks for that question, Fluffy.
I tell you I was in a commercial at Walmart with
You
Reese
did?
Witherspoon. Yeah.
Wish she wasn't with her knife.
No. Just Witherspoon.
So if I were to YouTube for Walmart commercial Reese Witherspoon, would find you?
Yeah.
All right, and here's the clip.
Hey, Ashley. Hi, Ashley. Say it like you said rock and roll.
Oh dear. You can't eat the candy, Reese.
But they're mine. See? Reese's Pieces?
It's down to the two of you for Walmart's All-Star Sushi of the Month.
Excuse me. Where are the paper towels? That's... Say Bucky How may I help you? Thank you. Save money, live better. Boom.
Welcome to the Walmart family.
Yes.
So next up, from Proto520. I think 520 is his last name. Have you ever listened to music on a cassette tape?
I have.
I'd be amazed if you hadn't.
I remember when I was little, I would listen to the radio and then I would record my favorite songs on the cassette tape so I
Wait.
could listen to them all the time.
I used to do that. Pretty cool. Hey, puppy, how are you? So what she's wanting me to do now is tickle her tummy because she sees I've crossed my legs.
My dog does the same thing.
You're
She's
too
like,
quick.
here's my belly.
Yeah.
No. Let me rest.
This will now turn into a fight.
Vicious.
No fighting in the studio.
Those are just sweet little kisses.
Very good. Well, thank you, Proto520, for that. Now, we've saved the best questions for last in a minute, but if you like this, click like, but also subscribe, because in a few weeks, we'll be enjoying an episode of Ashley Reacts, where we introduce her to Apples, Ataris, Commodores, even the Amstrad PCW, and see if she can figure out how to turn them on and load programs. Stay tuned to watch Ashley React, coming to a retro channel near you soon.
Wrong way? Alice. Google? That's my initials too.
What?
ANS. So I should get something in all of this.
Next question is from Brian Cummings, and he says, what is the song from the year you were born that most represents who you are as a person? Simple question there from Brian.
I don't even remember what songs came out the year I was born. Wow.
Should we ask Google? Wait, what year were you born?
92.
Hey Google, what were the #1 songs in 1992?
I found 100 on the website musicoutfitters.com. Here are the first 5. End of the Road, Boys 2 Men. Baby Got Back, Sir Mix-a-Lot. Crisscross. Save the Best for Last, Vanessa Williams. And Baby Baby Baby, TLC. Do you want to hear more?
No.
Okay, let me know if you need me.
Okay. A lot of babies there.
Yeah.
Baby, 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 and baby got back.
Huh.
So the question was, which song most represents who you are as a person?
Oh,
End of the road.
wow.
Baby got back. Baby, baby, baby.
Well, the best song I remember from most of those is Baby Got Back, and I don't really know if that
Don't know.
can appropriately
not-
summarize.
Not as a person, I
as
don't
a
think.
person.
Yeah. Should we say TBD? To be decided?
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
we'll say that.
Okay. It's probably one of the other 95
Probably.
songs. All right. Thanks anyway, Brian. Good question.
Do you sell the Commodore Plus 4?
We stopped selling that when I was like -7 years old.
Oh, they stopped selling it? Oh no.
Back in the 80s, 85.
85. That's where I'm going wrong. That's quite recently then.
Yeah, I mean not too far around then, right?
Okay. Well, thanks anyway.
You're welcome.
Okay, next question is from Jonathan Martins, and he says, retro gaming's all the rage with the new arcade cabinets and licensed releases of classic consoles. Even young people are getting into the 80s. I handed my C64 Mini off to my cousin's kids after loading it up with games, and they think Great Giana Sisters is the greatest thing. And they're right, of course. Assuming you like classic games, do you prefer original hardware, or is emulation like this just fine for you?
I prefer original.
There's no wrong answers here.
No, I just prefer original. Like, that's really cool because the most thing that I would relate to would be a Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
But I would prefer just an original Super Nintendo. And I mean, the developments of everything is cool. It's amazing how they just
Isn't it?
revamped it into something so small.
Yeah.
But I definitely think there's the nostalgia with originality.
And if you'd like to revamp some old electronics into something smaller, Ashley recommends PCBWay with their full assembly service. And as we all know, PCB stands for Polygonal Citrus Bongos, doesn't it? Do you experience nostalgia? Because when you get to my kind of age, and a lot of the age of my viewers, pardon me saying that, there's something very special about the feeling of going back to childhood and the nostalgia and recreating those memories, maybe games you played with your parents when you were 10 or whatever. And the emulators give you a way to do that. They really let you time travel back, and everything that you see and hear is the same. You know how smells can transport you back in time.
Yeah.
Do you have any memories like that, or is it fair to say you're probably too young to be craving that kind of nostalgia?
I think it's fair to say that I'm probably still too young, because the stuff that I miss and I love doing is still around, like Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
Still around. Mario Party, still around, and they're just making new ones.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure it's fair to say that I'm not old enough yet to where, some of those older things that I like to do are lost.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Nostalgia hasn't kicked in yet.
Yeah.
Will you come back and join us in 20 years?
For sure.
We'll revisit this question. Thanks very much, Jonathan. And Ashley, it's confusing, but actually, Ashley will be back sooner than 20 years. She had so much fun that she said she'd love to do another Ask Ashley episode. So if you'd like to ask Ashley something, head over to the Patreon or PayPal links in the description. Click to support our small retro channel here and pose your gentlemanly or gentlewomanly questions to Ashley. Alternatively, today I'm launching my YouTube channel memberships. Just click join under the video for exclusive early access videos, free music and ringtones, and another way to ask Ashley. So this one's from Kevin Gonzalez, and he says, if this was 1984 and you were looking for a home computer, what would you be looking for in a computer, and what would you ultimately choose?
Is it weird that when I look for computers, I like the way the buttons sound?
Give the Apple IIe a little go there behind you.
This one?
Yes.
So, I like that click.
Okay, and then compare it to this guy. You can go more crazy.
Like, see, this one's more quiet. I like to
Not if you do that.
Oh, if I do that. I think I would go with the click of this one.
You'd go with the Apple IIe?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll edit that out. Thanks, Kevin.
There's no wrong answer here.
There's no wrong answers here. By the way, Ashley knows Kung Fu. Next question is from Guillaume Godin. Hey Ashley, would you know where I may find a green card? Because you make me want to visit Walmart every day for the rest of my life.
Aw.
And the answer is oh. And Guillaume Godin, I hope I pronounced that correctly, he goes on to say, how long have you been working at Walmart?
I've been there for 7 years.
17 years. 7 years, sorry. 7 years.
It's been a long time. Feels like 17 years though.
We should probably let people know that you have plans to not work at Walmart, unless your managers don't know yet.
Oh, they know.
They know.
They know.
So how long are you going to be there for?
1 more week.
1 more week?
Yeah.
Holy sh! I need to get in there and film you then for some things. When do you actually leave?
On the 22nd. It's my last day.
On the 22nd?
Yeah. So Friday.
Oh crap. Okay, I've got to think up a year's worth of bits to film in 1 week.
We could do that.
I'm glad that I asked that question.
Yeah.
Thank you, Guy Lame.
Guillaume.
Guillaume. Me.
Hi, do you have the mini gang cart? What's that?
Gang of parts.
It's a gang
Mini.
of... no, it's like the final cart.
Final. Right here?
That's no, not like a cart. It's like a cartridge for the Commodore 64.
That you have to order from Poland.
Oh, you have to get it from Poland?
Yeah.
How do you know all this stuff?
Research.
This is another question from Kevin Gonzalez.
Oh, okay.
He says, Commodore 64 or Nintendo Entertainment System?
There's no wrong answer.
There's no
here,
wrong
right?
answers.
I'm gonna have to go Nintendo.
Nintendo Entertainment System. That's a good choice.
Yes.
And of course, he used to have one a bit like that. Good question from Kevin. But there is a secondary part to that because Hugo Cardozo chimed in to also say, given your apparent age, he reckons a more appropriate question would be NES or Master System or TurboGrafx.
I don't know the latter two, so
Okay.
I'll say NES.
Shame on you, Hugo.
Have fun in Poland. I'm Polish. Like a little bit Polish.
We'll go together. Come on, let's go.
Let's go.
And now a question from Chris Williams. And he says, hello.
Hi.
Thank you, Chris. Wasn't really a question, was it? We also have to say a very special thanks to Chris because he just became a Perifractic Team Rhodium member on the Patreon, which includes a special on-camera greeting and name drop. So let's say thank you, Chris Williams, for joining the Patreon. You can thank him too.
Thank you, Chris Williams, for joining the Patreon.
Chris, you lucky boy.
Excuse me. Do you do the Lego Commodore 64?
The Lego Commodore 64, actually not enough people voted for that one.
Oh, sad.
So sad.
I guess I'll just buy a Porg instead.
So this is from Retro Gubbins. The last name Gubbins.
Gubbins?
And Gubbins says, any chance you'll move to the UK and work in my local Asda/Walmart? You know where to find all the best stuff.
I couldn't, when I was actually in the UK, I couldn't even find an Asda.
You couldn't find Asda?
No.
And you know they're owned by Walmart,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
What part of the UK were you in?
I was in London.
Oh, there's not many Asdas in London.
Okay,
Like
so that's probably
central.
why. Because I was looking, I wanted to see what the difference is between Walmart and an Asda.
And she'll never know
I'll never know unless I go back
unless she goes back.
and work there.
So Retro Gubbins will get your details and you can set up the trip. I think British Airways has a special on right now, so you get on that. And also, if you know what the difference is between Walmart and Asda, let us know in the comments. Right?
Right. I would go for the BB-8 personally, because BB-8 is my favorite.
It may be your favourite, but it's not a Commodore 64.
No, it's not. But if you vote for it, then we'll get it.
Hey, I like your thinking.
Almost done with the questions here. One more from Look Up in Wonder. Question is, Ashley for president? It's not even a question.
Oh, okay. That's not a question?
Ashley for president.
I don't have a choice? Okay. Me for president.
2020, me for president. Not me, me.
Me.
Are you gonna be running? Is this the formal announcement?
I think so. I don't think I'm of age yet, though.
How old do you have to be to run for president?
40 something.
Is there an age?
I don't remember.
I thought it was.
School was so long ago.
Yeah, it was long ago.
Yeah.
I know the feeling. Hey Google, how old do you have to be to become president?
35 years.
Oh.
35.
Website heritage.org.
Hey Google, cancel. So 7 years to go, 8 years to go.
Yeah, 8 years. 8 years I'll run for president.
You heard it here first. That's all the questions. I'm kind of surprised nobody asked if you were actually single. Oh, wait. Yeah. Are you single?
That's one of my questions. I'm in the dating market.
She's in the datingmarket.com.
Yeah.
Is that a website?
Not yet. Whatever the kids say these days.
Whatever the kids say.
Yeah.
So you're not married?
No.
She's not married. Thank you so much. I won't read out all the names. Okay, well, thank you everyone so much for watching this episode of Ask Ashley. And we just have one thing left to say.
So what do you think? Was I a gracious guest or should I just give it a rest?
Comment below and cheerio. There it is. Shoot, 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 shoot.
Oh no, I missed it again.
Ash.